breakfast with the law right on my trail. Old Sheriff Jake Stone and those red bones out of hell say I killed a man in a poker game over $37 and some pocket change. Now I'm running for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. I love that lawman's daughter, for that he hated me. She felt the same, but he'd never let that be. He said, I'll prove to her that you're no good. Then he set me up like he said he would. Now I'm running for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. Tennessee rain, fall on down, wash my tracks into that old muddy ground. That old crooked sheriff has got him a grudge. He thinks he's a lawyer, jury and judge. Now I'm running for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. Still echoes in my head. Sounds like my daddy's voice and the words he always said. Never cross a man who carries a gun. He'll put you in the grave where you'll never see the sun. Now I'm running for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. Tennessee rain, fall on down, wash my tracks into that old muddy ground. That old crooked sheriff has got him a grudge, thinks he's a lawyer, jury and judge. Now I'm running for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. Yeah, that man with the gun has got him a grudge. He wants to take my life for falling in love. Now I run for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. Now I run for the border, praying for the Tennessee rain. Tennessee rain. Dwayne Sparks there, folks.
I'm Michelle Lee, and it's time to get real.
On Real Talk.
Here we go. Real Talk.
Of course, Jason and I, all we had to do was get a bunch of young guys.
I just saw. Speaking of bugs,
I'm up for the best Southern gospel hair in a bluegrass category.
I made this soup for you and I buried it.
It was awful. Right up to the front of the stage. Drops his hands and just starts going to the bathroom for the whole festival to see. And he just
I'm Michelle Lee, and we're about to get real on Real Talk Bluegrass with Danny and Ryan Paisley. But first, check out MichelleLeeOnAir.com to snag yourself some merchandise from sweatshirts to tees and the Smoke Country Jam Bluegrass Borderline hats. It's all right there at MichelleLeeOnAir.com. Plus, find out where you can tune in weekly for the Smoke Country Jam and Bluegrass Borderline and Real Talk Bluegrass on MichelleLeeOnAir.com. Now it's time to get real on Real Talk Bluegrass.
There ain't no light on the blind side, and you know it just won't be. You can't run, and you're running down your face.
But it is time now to get real with the reigning 2020 IBMA Male Vocalist of the Year, Danny Paisley, and Ryan Paisley. Hi, guys.
Hey!
Hey, you guys look like you're having a gorgeous day like I am.
Beautiful day up here in Pennsylvania.
I love it. Oh, love the neighbors over there in PA from Ohio. But
Yeah.
it's so great to have you guys both with me in that. And Danny, want to say, of course, World of Bluegrass last year went virtual. Didn't have a chance to personally congratulate you on your second Male Vocalist of the Year award. Thank you so much for what you do for Bluegrass, and congratulations.
Well, that was amazing. I tell you, first of all, thank you. I was so surprised. I was just taken back again. I don't ever sing just to have somebody praise you, but it's always very rewarding when somebody appreciates what you do and says how they like it. And we were at home watching on our TV, and I was sitting in my recliner, and I said, "My goodness, I just couldn't believe it." And then the next day, it just sort of hit in on me. It was like, what an honor.
Well, this is now your second win for Male Vocalist of the Year, and still an amazing accomplishment to receive in your career and being recognized. But that feeling, was it the same or a little different from the first one?
The first one, of course, you have all the fans and all your fellow musicians and the industry people in the audience, and they're all congratulating you and everything, and it's just so overwhelming that it takes a day or so for it to really sink in, because emotionally you're on this big high, and then you realize you walk up on that stage to say thank you, and your feet get shaking, your hands get nervous, everything about you. It's like, this is the most nervous thing I ever did in my life. Now, this time, like I said, I was sitting in my recliner, and I go, "Oh my goodness." And it's just like, I can't believe this again. What an honor. It truly is. And the next day I'm outside messing about, and I go, "My goodness, I can't believe that."
And of course, during a virtual time where you guys had participated at the Ryman to celebrate the awards ceremony, and as they pieced everything together, and everybody had to record an acceptance, because we didn't know who was going to win, so that had to be a little different feel for you.
When you do that in advance, that feels like you're jinxing yourself, and then it really feels like almost like very arrogant or something to say thank you for something you've not had that honor given to you, and it really felt weird.
Now, Brian, to see your dad win it for the second time, how is that as a man of his stature, and you get to be with him day in, day out on the road, and see what he does and puts his heart into his music? How is that for you to see happen again, and him being honored?
I was extremely proud. I'll second that. I was shocked. I knew he had a good shot. He didn't think he had a shot, he told me, but I knew he had a shot. But I was extremely, extremely proud. He's been doing this now this is his 47th year, so I couldn't be happier for him.
That's amazing. I can't believe, speaking of a 47-year long span of a career, and this is your this album that we're about to talk about, Bluegrass Troubadour, is your first with Pine Castle Records, and you've worked with many labels and have put self albums out. What was different working with Pine Castle with this project than ones in the past?
Right away, I talked with Lonnie and E10 down at IBMA when we were all gathered down there at Raleigh, and right away I took a liking to E10. He had this real straightforward, what he thought you should be doing, sort of attitude, yeah. And he had these good ideas what he thought he could help me with, and so I knew that they were prepared because they already had planned. Mm-hmm. And Lonnie and we would talk and sit and talk, and he's just fun. Yeah. So I thought to myself, this is the way I approach things. I like people to be very friendly and happy and have a plan and a business plan, but not let that just wrap up their whole being and their whole life, you know. And Pine Castle now is just putting out these incredible CDs. Dale Ann's been with them for a long time. So you look at the roster and you go, there's something working here, or people are staying with that label.
Right.
So that's a good selling part on their side too, you know. Right. So we both wanted something out of it, and boy, they delivered.
Well, the first single off this album, Bluegrass Troubadour, is Blink of an Eye. Tell us about the song selection that you had for this album, because a little different than what you normally would select, but yeah, it definitely stays true to your traditional sound.
We wanted songs that were songs for us. Mm-hmm. So we took a long time to put it together, picked out some songs that are sort of standard material, like May I Sleep in Your Barn, Tonight Mister, and 40 Years of Trouble. That's a song I've been doing for a long time. Now, Bob Amos wrote Blink of an Eye. He's a fella that I've known for many years when he was out in Colorado with the band Front Range, I believe it was. And then he moved all the way back east here to Vermont. So over the years, get to see him, and he gave me all these great songs, and I keep going back and listen to them, and he sends more, and I just took a liking. If you pay attention to it, it's most of our songs have 4 lines. You know, it's set out in 4s. On this song, everything's in 3. Yeah. Everything's in 3. It's just a subtle little thing, but that's what it takes to make it stand out. And then the song meaning itself, in the blink of an eye, everything changes. Appreciate what you have today and not worry about tomorrow, because in the blink of an eye, it can all be gone, which we all found out with COVID. In the blink of an eye, we lost all our gigs, and mainly we lost a lot of fellow musicians, a lot of fellow fans, family members, every one of us, we've been touched by it. So in the blink of an eye, life changed for everybody. Sure, and that song really struck home. I thought that's a theme that everybody can relate to. We better appreciate what we have right now.
Oh, definitely. And Ryan, you know, getting a chance to play with your dad and be a huge part of this album, Bluegrass Troubadour. How has that and working with your father these past few years kind of influenced you in a little bit more of be like honing in on your own style of playing?
Well, he always told me from the beginning that I when I started on the mandolin that I needed to play like me. You know, I had my heroes who I practiced to and things like that, but he always said, but you can't be them. You know, there is already a Rodney McCurry. There's already a Doyle Lawson. You need to focus on being Ryan Paisley. And I think that was the greatest lesson I could ever learn. But, you know, we butt heads every once in a while when it comes to different decisions, but all around it's a great time and we love traveling together.
Oh, that's awesome. And of course, you know, this album can not only features you on the mandolin, but you're doing some vocal work as well, kind of honing in on your own vocal contributions to the Southern grass style of music. It's a tough legacy to follow, right? Yeah, isn't
it? Yeah. Well, see, I had not really done a lot of tenor singing before this. So we went in the studio and I was scared to death. I really was. And but luckily we had an excellent engineer by the name of Wes Easter, and he really did a fantastic job of getting you in your comfort zone and helping you out. So it all around it was a pretty great album to record. We had an absolute ball.
So as you look back at your career, Danny, and everything you've accomplished, what have you found that you're most proud of, whether it's your career or personal life?
Probably the thing I'm most proud of is carrying on a legacy of my father playing music, passing that legacy on to Ryan. That's what life's about: continuation, a legacy, and history, uh, and music. When you pass a legacy on to your son or family, daughter, I, there's nothing much more rewarding than that. That's the thing I'm most proud of. I
Oh,
can
well,
remember when I was a young person and my father played music. Man, oh man, it just ate me up to hear that music. And then to have Ryan at this little age, without me encouraging or pushing him to also just find that energy and that excitement, uh, the same thing I did. And so I didn't have to encourage him to play. He wanted to play, it was in him. And that's the greatest honor you can have in life when you pass that on.
so, you mentioned your father, of course, a huge inspiration for you, and Dan, Ryan, your dad to you, as well as your grandfather. Who is somebody else that was a huge influence in both of your guys' musical career? Danny, we'll go with you first.
Well, first of all, Bill Monroe. Bill Monroe. I love Monroe. I love the Stanley Brothers. That's the music I grew up with around home. Uh, George Jones, Vern Godston. I just loved all that singing. Bill Monroe with that energy and that ability to throw his voice real high and go into that. And then later on, I found these bands like the Shenandoah Cut Ups that had this drive, this energy, this powerful bluegrass. And of course, my dad's partner for many years and dear friend Ted Lundy of the Lund family, major influence. Ted was this great bluegrass banjo picker from Galax, Virginia way, right down the mountains of Southwest Virginia, and he had this drive and this certain sound about his banjo playing uh, that also just to this day is what I want to hear.
Oh, wow.
That and then it just keeps snowballing. Joe Val, Charlie Moore, at that age where all the first generation musicians were hitting it real good and strong, and then the second generation was coming in, and it was a great. There was so much great live music around my home. So very lucky.
I would say for me, when I first started to pick up the mandolin, I thought I was going to be a fiddle player, and I had a rolling pin that I kind of used as a fiddle, my grandmother's rolling pin. But I really remember just being captured by the sound of the mandolin, and one of the first times I got to go out of the house to play, because I didn't get to go too much except for festivals or things around the house. We went to Musicians Against Childhood Cancer, the MAC Festival, and Dad was playing, and I remember it was the first time I ever got to hear Doyle Lawson live. And I sat there for that 45 minutes or however long that set was, and was just absolutely transfixed by his music. And then from there started studying his mandolin playing and falling in love with that. And then Ronnie McCurry's mandolin playing. And mandolin wise, those are the two people that I just really have influenced me, who I really love to hear play.
Well, and two great inspiration to be huge influences in your mandolin player right there, of course. And I love the Mac Festival. Of course, that's just down the road, about an hour away from the radio station. So it's always a great festival that takes place in July. And, hopefully to see you guys back out there someday soon. And that is, of course, your tour schedule, like you said, all came to a stop last year. Gigs are gone in a blink of an eye, as out. But what have you guys been able to keep yourself busy and do during this past year and a half?
For me, putting together this CD, trying to concentrate on resting my voice, getting it good and strong again. Because after 47 years of singing and probably over 20 of it playing in nightclubs and things like that, it's hard to. So we did a lot of that. I did that, but main work was music wise was the CD, we just decided to focus our energy and go right at the CD. And we recorded. We took our time. We picked out songs. We rehearsed, just things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like the best thing that you could do, and especially rest that voice. I mean, you got to rest the male vocalist voice of the got to keep it strong to get you back up there out of and touring and everything. Yeah, one of the other questions I've had have been asked to ask you is, what is the most memorable lesson you have learned from your parents, Ryan?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that one. That's a good question. When it relates to music wise, there's a lot of little things that people on the road know, like, what to eat, what not to eat, what to stay away from. There's a lot of lessons he taught me about traveling that makes traveling a lot easier. And I would say stuff like that is pretty important music wise. Learning how to travel the roads better and create as less problems as possible.
Right.
That was a good question.
I
didn't expect that.
I was going to say, not talk back to your father.
I was waiting for that to happen too. Yeah, and on that note, Ryan, is it hard to because you see him off the road and on the road, is it hard to kind of say, Dad is my boss when we're on the road, and oh wait, Dad's the boss at home too?
It's pretty much a continuation. It kind of just transfers right over. But sometimes I try and put my little input on things.
Yeah.
And it's usually greeted with the same response. It kind of starts off with a head nod like this, and then it says, that's really good. That's a great idea. One day when you get your own band, you can try that.
Not quite that bad. Now on this CD, I took a back seat to let him and Wes Easter be pretty much the people in charge, because I figured I've done my share of work on this. Let him learn how the ropes are on this deal. It's not as easy as you think, but actually he did a great job. He really did.
It's a great album, and that's great to see that you had that faith and that trust to let him kind of take the driving seat, and
that's earned from working hard and learning the ropes, and that's what he's done. And his way of thinking, it's not always exactly as mine, but you know what? I've been at this a long time. Maybe some fresh ideas are what's needed.
So, as we talk about being on the road and looking at some of your tours and getting on the road and hanging out, is there any fun, memorable moments, Danny, that you have had in your career on the road?
Can't tell a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them I can't tell. I've had so much fun. It's hard to pick out one, but I've gotten to play with Bill Monroe, and just over this weekend got to sing a couple songs with Larry Stevenson, and then top that off, got to sing a couple songs with Rhonda Vincent. There's just been so many exciting things, but one of the scariest moments I ever had, we had the honor of playing for Princess Anne, and I was young. I was probably about 16 or so at that time, and we're down outside of Washington, D.C. playing a job reception for her, and I'm going out to get some guitar strings out the motorhome that we were traveling in, and out of the grass stood up this Secret Service agent that I did not know he was there. I come within a foot of walking on him, and he stood up and wanted to know what I was doing, and I just about peed my pants. I tell you, where he came from or what, And of course, then I got to put my hands up and stand there and everything, be frisked down, And I'm just walking back to my vehicle, and I'm going, forget this. I'm going back to play the Bluegrass Festival. Nobody cares like you do.
And Ryan, of course, you have to have some great stories as well. Touring with your dad and on stage. Any good moments you could share that has happened? Maybe some.
Yeah, there's a bunch, but I don't think I might get fired for telling you. But one that was really interesting. I think I won't say where we were, but it was a festival, and we're playing. And sometimes at festivals, kids can run around and do all that kind of thing. And we're standing up there playing, and a little boy is his parents are kind of in the front row, and he's running around. Well, finally, Dad's in the middle of singing something. I think it was something, slow and pretty and real nice. Well, all of a sudden, this boy walks right up to the front of the stage, drops his pants, and just starts going to the bathroom for the whole festival to see.
I couldn't get through the song.
And he just kind of breaks down. We're all just kind of. And another one.
He was just a toddler.
Yeah, he was. And another one was
still good. That's still good.
That was good. And another one was we did this oyster thing.
Uh-huh.
And basically what it
Oyster
was,
feast.
it was oyster feast. And it was in Delaware. And basically the town fire department throws this big bash in the middle of winter. They come in, they put wood chips over the floor and basically bring in these troughs and set them down. And all night, all you can eat oysters, pickled eggs, and beer. If that ain't a combination. So one time we were playing, and nobody's listening to the bluegrass. The only bluegrass song they knew was Fox on the Run. And these guys, it was right after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Remember that? And they came up on stage. A bunch of these drunk guys came right up on stage and took over the show. We had nothing to do, and all they just kept doing was singing the Eagles theme song. So we just kind of stepped back, waited, and they were so drunk that they forgot that there were stairs to get off the stage. So when this stage is probably about 5 foot high, they just kind of fell right off the front of the stage. Okay, I guess we can go back to playing now. That was wild.
What a band does to get some work.
Oh my, awesome. That is so awesome. So as you look at your career and everything that you have accomplished so far, Danny, if you sat back and watched a movie about your life, would you be happy to see how your life has unfolded?
Yes. Yeah, yes. Of course, my life is, I always say I lead a pretty simple life. I go out and play a little music, which I love to do. I come home. I love being at home. I love baseball. So we go to baseball games. And so my life is good. And for me, that's the main purpose. And I enjoy what I do. I enjoy playing music. I enjoy coming home. I enjoy simple things. And I try to keep my life that way.
I love it. All right. Are you a Pirates or a Pittsburgh fan?
I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan. No Pirates.
I'm thinking thinking of all the all the teams that are in Pennsylvania. I'm like, okay, I know I'm missing one.
you picked the wrong side of the state.
Warning.
Because they of course my all-time favorite player, Jim Thome, played for the Phillies for a while.
He did. Yes, he's great, wasn't he? Yes, he's first baseman and a great hitter, wasn't he? Oh my goodness.
Me and you, we can talk baseball pretty much a long time, because that's my heart.
Yeah, that's what I love. I love baseball, of course, football, but I love baseball.
Yeah, definitely.
I love baseball. I love the pitching. I love watching hitters and that cat and mouse game between them.
Have you ever felt that you found yourself in like a double play in your career at any time, Danny?
Yes. Sometimes I think we're on a triple play.
Well, as we're looking forward to hearing more singles off this album, Bluegrass
Great.
Country, you guys have definitely got some dates lined up to get back on the road. Just like
Yeah.
you said, you've been performing. You got a cruise that you're going to be part of as well with Danny Stewart. In the
Great
next year.
time. That's going to be so much fun.
What have you been doing lately?
Yeah. We started playing last weekend up at the Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival, and we have some festivals in coming up in June and of course in July and different ones, and then by midsummer it really takes off again because everyone's getting their shots and doing what they have to do. So I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
So, I have to ask you this one question. Another question that came in: is there one artist that you have yet to perform with that you would love to perform with?
Whew. I love so many. My favorites, of course, are the Vern Godsons, the George Jones, the Bill Monroes, the Flatt and Scruggs. Today's artists, Alan Jackson. And then in bluegrass, we have so much great bluegrass nowadays. Any one of them. It's amazing. The great bands we have today in bluegrass music. So many. I couldn't hardly pick out one for offending somebody else.
Well, I will say that you've had a great success working with Lorraine Jordan and with the True Grass with Junior Sisk, and that was such a great success with that song.
That song hit an accord with a lot of people because sometimes our music gets a little too far away from the source to be so-called bluegrass. I mean, it's good music. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything about anybody else's music, but that song really hit home for a lot of folks. Bluegrass is a big tent in today's world. We're all accepted, but we have our core of traditionalists that really love the old-timey way of bluegrass music. Lorraine and David Stewart put this song together, and boy, it took off.
It sure did. It sure did.
It did.
Yeah, Brian, I'm going to assume that you're probably the tech savvy kind of guy who handles a lot of the social media and the website in that.
How could you guess?
Is that something that you were thrown into and got more familiar with during the pandemic?
It really was. I realized that social media was going to be the key pretty much in this pandemic time to making sure that you stayed relevant. That hey, let people know, hey, we're still here. We hope you're doing all right, and we're going to get back to where we were pretty soon. But I did learn. I've learned a lot about social media. I think it's a great tool, and I've convinced him to let us broaden our reach and stuff on there. So I still have a lot to learn, but I have taken a lot of time to learn more about it.
Well, I think we all do because we keep on developing something new every day and everything. And what I've seen, what you guys have accomplished within the last year, even 2 years, is just remarkable. What you guys have been doing on your social media outlet and as well as your website, and it's great to see that that's something that kind of reignites a career in today's technology and today's world and everything. Before I let you guys go, another question that was brought to me for you. What is something that you're beyond music that you're passionate about? Something that is not music related, Danny, that you're passionate about?
Life, in my own simple way. I enjoy learning things. I love getting outside and just kicking back, going to the ocean and watching the waves. I like doing something I've never done. Simple things as going to the mountains, seeing the United States. There's so much of this country you get to see. So, like I say, I live a pretty simple life, but I love family, and I just enjoy myself.
And how about
Baseball.
Baseball? Yeah.
passionate outside of music?
Oh, sorry, you cut out there. What was that?
What are you most passionate outside of music?
Oh,
History.
yeah, I have a great love for history. I read a lot of history, learn a lot of history. Like baseball, I've been involved in current affairs and that kind of stuff. But most off, I would say history. I really love history.
What
We're
is
actually going to Mount Vernon
Yep.
at the in a couple weeks.
I was just gonna. What is one of the places that you have yet to see that you'd love to get more history from?
Oh, a couple places. We're going. One of them is Mount Vernon, and we're going there in a couple of weeks. I'd really love to go down to Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's house, and have some family that's gone down there, and I'm planning to do that when we get some time. I want to go down there and see that. Mount Vernon. I would like to go to the Capitol and tour the inside of the Capitol one time. I'm going to do that. I like that kind of stuff.
I mean, it sounds like one of your neighbors could probably get in there.
I didn't know. Sorry,
Say
you cut
again?
out.
It sounds like one of your neighbors could get you in there.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
He
met him.
lives. He lives not too far. We're right on the line of Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland, over in the eastern part of the state of Pennsylvania. When the president comes home, his place is outside of Wilmington, Delaware, and so it's not far from us. So of course we see the different fighter jets and security and the roadblocks, and then I think he has a vacation home down on the ocean. So he's down that way a good bit
But
on the weekend. But over the years, I've been lucky. I've got to meet him several times at political events that we were playing at, and different things. You could see him in the grocery store, to the local store, and always very personable. He always acted like you were his best friend. He had a way with people, I'll say.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. We get to connect. I'm not talking about your political views. I'm just talking about it personally. He's a very approachable person. He always was.
Well, as we get ready to wrap things up, as we been getting real, one other question, and this one is from me, because you have had a career that spans over 40 years, and that was there any idea that you have shelved that you hope to bring back to life in the next few years of your recording?
There's a bunch of songs that my dad over the years have sung and that never were recorded, and I always remember those. I trickle them out once in a while, like on the CD. Long Black Limousine was one of those old country tunes that a lot of people had done, but maybe not so much in bluegrass. So there's some of those that come alive. I think just keeping our father's history and legacy going and putting our own spin on it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I got to thank both of you for gracing the beautiful day that both of us are having.
Yeah.
Again, Danny Paisley, Ryan Paisley, thank you so much for allowing me to get a little real and talk about the Bluegrass Troubadour album with Pine Castle Records. I want to make sure people get out there and get that album and get over to your website and see where you guys are going to be next to, concerts, as you can find the legacy of great traditional bluegrass music in our bluegrass community. I appreciate everything that you've done and continue to do. And again, congratulations as being our reigning 2020 IBMA Male Vocalist of the Year. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you at World of Bluegrass this year. And maybe you never know what may happen for either of you this year.
Well, we look forward to being there and saying hello to you and everyone else.
Thank you again, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody, it's Michelle Lee, and we just got real with Danny Ryan Paisley here on Real Talk Bluegrass. Thanks, everybody.